In the name of God, the Almighty, the Merciful. Alif, Lam, Mim. The Romans have been victorious in the lowest earth, but they, after their defeat, will be victorious in a few years. To God belongs the command before and after, and that day the believers will exult at the help of God. He helps whom he wills, and he is the exalted in might, the merciful. The promise of God. God fails not in his promise, but most men know not. They know an outward part of the life of this world, but of the hereafter they are heedless. Have they not reflected within themselves? God created the heavens and the earth and what is between them only in truth and for a stated term, and many among men are deniers of the meeting with their Lord. Have they not travelled in the earth and seen how was the final outcome of those who were before them? They were stronger than them in power, and they tilled the earth and inhabited it more than they have inhabited it, and their messengers came to them with clear signs, and God wronged them not, but they wronged their souls. Then evil was the final outcome of those who did evil, because they denied the proofs of God and mocked them. God begins creation, then he repeats it, then to him will you be returned. And the day the hour strikes, the lawbreakers will despair, and there will be no intercessors for them among their partners, and they will deny their partners. And the day the hour strikes, that day will they be divided. As for those who heed warning and do righteous deeds, they will be made glad in a lush meadow. But as for those who ignore warning and deny our proofs and the meeting of the hereafter, those will be summoned to the punishment. So glory be to God when you reach the evening and when you reach morning. And to him belongs the praise in the heavens and the earth, and at night and when you reach midday. He brings forth the living from the dead, and brings forth the dead from the living, and he gives life to the earth after its death, and thus will you be brought forth. And among his proofs is that he created you from dust. Then are you mortals dispersing. And among his proofs is that he created for you spouses from yourselves, that you might be reassured thereby, and made between you love and mercy. In that are proofs for people who reflect. And among his proofs is the creation of the heavens and the earth, and the difference in your tongues and your hues. In that are proofs for all mankind. And among his proofs is your sleep by night and day, and your seeking of his bounty. In that are proofs for people who hear. And among his proofs he shows you the lightning as fear and hope, and sends down water from the sky, and gives thereby life to the earth after its death. In that are proofs for people who reason. And among his proofs is that the heaven and the earth stand by his command. Then when he calls you with a call, from the earth will you then come forth. And to him belongs whoso is in the heavens and the earth, all are to him humbly obedient. And he it is that begins creation, then he repeats it, and it is most easy for him. And to him belongs the highest likeness in the heavens and the earth, and he is the exalted in might, the wise. He strikes for you a similitude from yourselves. Have you from among those whom your right hands possess any partners in what we have provided for you, so that you are equal therein, you fearing them as you fear each other? Thus do we set out and detail the proofs for people who reason. The truth is, those who do wrong follow their vain desires without knowledge. Then who will guide him whom God has sent astray? And they have no helpers. So set thou thy face towards the doctrine inclining to truth, the nature of God with which he created people. There is no changing the creation of God. That is the right doctrine, but most men know not. Turning in repentance to him, and be in prudent fear of him, and uphold the duty, and be not of the idolaters, of those who divide their doctrine and become sects, each party exulting at what it has. And when affliction touches men, they call to their Lord, turning in repentance to him. Then when he lets them taste mercy from him, then a faction among them ascribes a partnership to their Lord, that they might deny what we have given them. So enjoy yourselves, and you will come to know. If we have sent down upon them an authority, then it speaks of that to which they ascribe a partnership. So bring your evidence. And when we let men taste mercy, they exult thereat. But if evil befalls them because of what their hands sent ahead, then they despair. Have they not considered that God expands provision for whom he wills, and he straightens? In that are proofs for people who believe. So give thou the relative his due, and the needy and the wayfarer. That is best for those who desire the face of God, and it is they who are the successful. And what you give of usury that it might increase in the wealth of men, there is no increase with God. But what you give of purity, desiring the face of God, it is they who receive recompense manifold. God is he who created you, then he provided for you. Then will he give you death, then will he give you life. Is there among your partners one who does anything of that? Glory be to him, and exalted is he above that to which they ascribe a partnership. Corruption has appeared on land and sea for what the hands of men have earned, that he might let them taste some of what they have done, that they might return. Say thou, travel in the earth and see how was the final outcome of those who were before. Most of them were idolaters. So set thou thy face towards the right doctrine, before there comes a day of which there is no repelling from God. That day will they be separated. Whoso denies, upon him is his denial, and whoso works righteousness, then are they preparing for themselves, that he might reward those who heed warning and do righteous deeds of his bounty. He loves not the false claimers of guidance. And among his proofs is that he sends the winds as bearers of glad tidings, that he might let you taste of his mercy, and that the ships might run by his command, and that you might seek of his bounty, and that you might be grateful. And we sent before thee messengers to their people, and they brought them clear signs. Then we took vengeance on those who were lawbreakers, and it was binding upon us to help the believers. God is he who sends the winds, that they stir up a cloud, and he spreads it in the sky as he wills, and he makes it pieces, and thou seest the rain come forth from the midst of it. Then when he makes it fall on whom he wills of his servants, they rejoice, though they were before it was sent down upon them, before that in despair. So look thou at the effects of the mercy of God, how he gives life to the earth after its death, that he is the quickener of the dead, and he is over all things powerful. And if we send a wind, and they see it turn yellow, they would continue after that to deny. And thou wilt not make the dead to hear, nor wilt thou make the deaf hear the call when they turn and go. And thou wilt not guide the blind out of their error. Thou wilt only make hear him who believes in our proofs, so they are submitting. God is he who created you of weakness, then appointed he after weakness strength. Then he appointed after strength weakness and white hair. He creates what he wills, and he is the knowing, the powerful. And the day the hour strikes, the lawbreakers will swear that they had tarried but an hour. Thus were they deluded. But those given knowledge and faith will say, You have tarried concerning the writ of God until the day of resurrection. So this is the day of resurrection, but you knew not. So that day their excuses will not profit those who do wrong, nor will they be allowed to make amends. And we have struck for men in this Qur'an every similitude, and if thou come to them with a proof, those who ignore warning will say, You are only creators of vanity. Thus does God seal the hearts of those who know not. And be thou patient, the promise of God is true, and let not those who are not certain sway thee.